Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Book Reviews, and I just got done watching the season 2, episode 3 episode of the Orville Home. And this was very much a bittersweet episode. One that I think I knew was coming ultimately to some extent, but I didn't think it was going to happen so quick, even though things were in fact left open for a continuation down the road. Now, there are going to be spoilers ahead, just so you know. But if you're wondering whether or not you should check out this episode, 100%. Just also make sure to keep some tissues with you towards the end, because you might be feeling a little bit here in your big old heart muscle. But that being said, this episode is again relatively straightforward. This is a character-based episode. This is all about Alara Kitan and her need ultimately to go home because she's getting gravity sickness from being away from her home planet Xelaya for so long. And that was the whole thing in the first season, where she was this ultra strong, super fast, security chief, because the Earth gravity allowed her to basically become invulnerable in many instances and super powerful. But this was having a negative effect. The long time being away from being home has started to take its toll on her. So she, after losing a arm wrestling match to Isaac and him breaking her arm, she discovers that she's sick, and she decides to head home in order to get better, because basically if she goes home and basks in the oxygen, the gravity of her home planet, it could actually cure her eventually and everything else. But when she goes home, her parents, played by Robert Picardo, and I forget the name of the actress who played her mom, very much hate the military. They kind of been, they love their daughter, but they're very much also kind of against what she's been doing. They want her to be home. They want her to go back to university, maybe meet a nice boy, take him home, make an honest woman out of her. As well as her sister, who has, basically just the apple of their eye, so to speak. Even though they get off to a bit of a rocky start, they decide to head off to the island, to a beach house that they have on some deserted island in the off season. And this is where they encounter another group of people who claim that husband and wife, they claim that their house has been broken into, and they're a little bit shook up. Alara decides to go investigate the caretaker to see whether or not he's around. They can't find him, and ultimately we discover that the husband and wife are in fact home intruders, and they're looking to make her father retract. Basically, though they're anti-vaxxers, they're anti-vaxxers, and they blame him for their son taking his own life when his pushing for anti-vax mentality got him kind of ridiculed in the medical field on Xelaya, and then ultimately he took his life. They blame the doctor, Idris, and whatever, Robert Picardo's the guy's name, and they want him to pay. They want him to retract his statement, and then they pretty much plan on killing him. It goes from being kind of lighthearted, not I don't say lighthearted, but definitely a family drama with maybe a little bit of comedy added into what could almost be, a home invasion horror thriller type film like that. They just make it work, and so it's definitely interesting to watch it play out in that particular aspect. And of course, Ed and everyone back on the ship, they kind of figure out a way to save Alara, to make sure she's okay. So Ed goes to rescue her, or at least to tell her to kind of rescue her from her family. And at the same time, the home invaders try to kill Ed, and then Alara takes out both of them, therefore saving the day, while her dad goes and saves Ed, who breaks a couple legs because of the gravity, before getting back on the ship. And then we discover that she decides that she wants to stay at home, because she finally had that coming to Jesus moment with her dad, that heart-to-heart that she'd been waiting over 20 years to have, and she doesn't want to walk away from it. Now, the reality of the situation is Halston Sage, who plays Alara Kitan, she got cast in another show, and so they were kind of like dividing up her duties between the two shows, and she ultimately probably chose this new one that maybe has a better shot at winning or staying on the air a little bit longer, or maybe she doesn't go through the prosthetic makeup all the time. I don't really know the reasoning, but she got cast in another show, and she opted to leave the Orville. What I like about the episode is the fact that they left the door open for her return. So if that show fails, they could basically bring her back on. And I think that was part of the exit agreement, was like, look, we want you to come back. If the show doesn't work out, we're going to leave the door open for you. And you don't hear about that much in shows. I mean, I'm clearly speculating. I have no real idea. But the way I look at it, it's like this. they've left the door open for you know, a fan favorite character, one of the main characters, to come back into the show later on. And I think that's a pretty cool move. I think that's a pretty cool move, and I think that's something fans are going to really respect, really relate to, and be happy that they didn't kill her off, that they're giving her an opportunity to come back home when the time is right. And again, I give full credit to Seth MacFarlane and Brendan Braga for running a ship like that, instead of, you know, her getting cast in another show and them getting all sorts of butthurt about it, go off and give her the opportunity to come back in. So again, totally happy with the episode. Real good. I like that it dealt with family issues, and then it dealt with anti-vaxxers and touching upon that, although that's going to really anger those guys tomorrow. And it's another episode that is damn good to watch at the Orville. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.